Hey guys, today we are going to make delicious lamb kofta curry. If you're new to my channel or you haven't subscribed below, please go ahead and do that right now. Let's get started with the ingredients without any further delay. I'm starting with frying 4 tablespoons of chana dal because once I powder, I want to make sure I have 3 tablespoons of the powder. I'm going to let it cool down before I powder it. For this, we need few ingredients. I already powdered the chana dal that I just roasted. If you already have a gram flour, you can toast that gram flour in a pan for a few seconds. We need 1 small onion, roughly diced. I have half a cup of mint leaves and coriander leaves combined and 1 green chili. I have a ginger garlic paste 1 teaspoon, salt as needed, turmeric 1/3 of a teaspoon, garam masala half a teaspoon, coriander powder half a teaspoon, cumin powder half a teaspoon. I also have a cashew nut powder. I just took the cashew nuts and powdered it myself. So you need 2 to 3 tablespoons of cashew powder, 500 gram of ground lamb or ground mutton. I'm using a food processor. To this, now I'm going to add mint leaves, coriander leaves, and also 1 green chili. You can add as much as you want. Now I'm going to add the onions that I chopped earlier. Now close the food processor and process it until it's coarsely chopped. You don't want to make it too paste at this point. Just roughly chop it. That is good. It looks good. Now I'm going to open it, and at this time I'm going to add my keema into it. It's already ground keema. If you get a meat that is not ground, then you want to make sure there is no water whatsoever. Drain it completely with a paper towel or anything, and then you add. Now I'm going to add in the masalas in here. I have ginger garlic paste. I have salt as needed, turmeric powder, garam masala, coriander powder, cumin powder, the powder of chana dal which we just roasted and made a powder. I'm using 3 tablespoons of that. Now I'm using the cashew powder. I already told you in the recipe. If you don't like the cashew powder, you can also substitute with the almond powder. Now I'm going to just process it for a couple of seconds, around like 5 to 10 seconds. That should be fine. Now let's open it. Now this is how the consistency looks. It should not be watery at all, at any means. Now we have to combine them. Let's mix it with the hand so that we can combine them very well, so the spices and all the meat is combined together. We don't want any lumps that is left behind, and when we make the meatball it doesn't taste good. So let's make sure this step is important, that we combine them even though we put them in the food processor. So once you combine them, it looks something like this. As you see, my meat is not watery at all. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of oil just to make sure it doesn't stick. It's also easy to make a meatball. Now this is exactly how it looks. I'm going to start making the meatballs. You can make any size of meatballs. I am making a medium-sized meatball. That's how I like it. But if you like larger, you can make it large. If you like medium, you can make medium. If you like small, up to you. Totally up to you. Now I'll continue to make the meatballs with the rest of my mixture. Once that is done, I'll show you what is the next step. Now I finished with my meatball. I got around 15 meatballs. Depending on the size, you will get less or more. Now I will show you how I'm going to fry it. Generally people fry it, deep fry it, but in my case I'm going to just shallow fry it. I'll show you how. I have like 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using coconut oil, but you can use vegetable oil or any oil that you like. Now I'm going to just shallow fry them. Now the oil is hot. I'll make sure the oil is hot. You don't want the oil not to be hot. It has to be sizzling hot. So when you put the meat, you have to hear the sizzling sound. That's how you know the meat is going to cook nice and brown and caramelized. It's going to be beautiful. Now I want to make sure I cook them each side at least 3 minutes, so that way it gets really nicely browned. Just don't flip it until it's 2 to 3 minutes. I'm using cast iron. You can use any pan that you like. Now I'm going to start flipping the meatballs. Make sure the meatball doesn't stick under. If it is sticking, then your meat is still yet to cook. Now as you see that it's nice looking meatball, you want to make sure this nicely browned all the sides. Even on the side, you have to flip it over. It takes couple minutes, but trust me, it's gonna be gorgeous and it's gonna taste so good. Now it's been already 8 minutes since I started browning them. If you can look at the meat, it's nicely browned all the sides. At this time I'm going to remove the meatballs and put it in a bowl or a plate and set it aside. And I'm going to continue to do this with the rest of the meatball. If you can look at the meatball, it looks so beautiful. It's nicely browned and it has this nice crust outside, and inside it's still nice juicy meat. This is exactly what we need for the kofta. Now I'm going to fry my second batch. The second batch with the frying pan is going to be faster because we already have a hot oil, hot pan. So at this point, I don't think so it's going to take longer time, but still keep an eye. As you can see, there's more oil than what I initially added. That's just the fat from the meat. It has a lot of fat. It's not a saturated fat, it's a good fat. So we are going to use that fat later in our kofta curry. Now, as you can see, the second batch is also nicely browning. At this point, I'm going to just flip it, make sure every side is brown, and then I'm going to remove them from the plate. And I'll show you once all the meatball is done. As you can see, all meatball is cooked and it looks perfect. Now we will go ahead and start making the curry. For curry, we need some red chili powder. You can take red chili powder as per your taste. I'm using 1.5 teaspoon. Salt as needed as per your taste again. Ginger garlic paste 1 tablespoon. I have a 1 teaspoon coriander powder and 1/2 teaspoon turmeric powder. I also have 1 tablespoon mutton korma powder. This is totally optional. I'm just showing you so that in case if you want more flavor, you can add it. I have 1 bay leaf. You can use fresh or dry. 1/2 inch cinnamon stick. I have 1 cardamom, 2 cloves, 4 to 5 peppercorns or more if you need it, and 1 teaspoon cumin seeds. I also have 2 green chilies and 3 tablespoons of coriander leaves and 1 cup yogurt or curd. I also pureed 2 large tomatoes. If you want to leave the skin on, it's okay. If you want to remove, that's fine too. I have 1 large onion, pureed red onion. Now let's start making the curry. I have a pan that I'm heating on the stove top, and I'm going to add the fat from the meat that I just used to fry the meatballs. But some cases the meatballs does not have fat. That's okay. Then in that case you just use oil of your choice. Now you have to have at least 4 tablespoons of oil. In my case, I have around 3 tablespoons of oil, so I'm going to add another tablespoon of oil. Once the oil is hot, I'm going to add in the masalas. In goes all the garam masala. Fry for a couple of seconds. Now I'm going to add the onions that is pureed, and I'm going to saute it for a couple more minutes. We don't want to brown the onions, we just want the raw smell to be gone. Saute it for 2 to 3 minutes, that should be perfectly fine. Once it is sauteed, this is how it looks. Now in goes ginger garlic paste. With the ginger garlic paste, it's the same thing. We do not want to overcook it. Just make sure the raw smell is gone. Now in goes the tomato puree. I've been cooking my onion and ginger for like 2 to 3 minutes. Now add the tomato and cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. Now it's been 4 minutes, the tomato looks good. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of yogurt or dahi, and now start mixing the yogurt into the tomato puree. Keep stirring it and reduce your heat to lower temperature. Cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. Now we are going to add all the masalas, red chili powder as per your taste, coriander powder and the turmeric powder, salt as needed. At this stage, if you want the korma powder, which I'm not using, you can use it and cook them for another 5 minutes. Once you see little color change, cover it and cook it for another 20 to 25 minutes on low heat. Now it's been 25 minutes. In between I kept mixing them. Now you see the oil is on top. When you see the oil is on top, that's when you know the gravy is cooked through. At this point, I'm going to just give a quick mix. Now it's time to add the meatballs in the masala. Now give it a quick mix gently without breaking any meatballs. It shouldn't break, but still, to be cautious, you don't want the broken meatballs. Just combine them gently. Now I have 2 cups of water, but I'm going to use just a little bit at a time. Now I'm adding 1.5 cup of water to just make sure if that is the right consistency for me. At this point, I think I would use all the 2 cups of water. Now I'm going to cover this and cook for another 20 minutes. Now as you see, it's nicely cooked. The oil is floating on top. I feel the consistency is right. It depends upon the consistency you would like to have. Now I'll give a quick mix. Now my kofta is ready. I'm going to add cilantro to finish off and also a green chili. Now I turned off the heat. I will cover it for 5 minutes before I serve the kofta curry. Look at that. It's been 5 minutes. It looks perfect. You can serve this with rice or roti, anything you like. It smells great. If you like this recipe, please do subscribe to my channel and don't forget to comment below. I will see you soon in my next video. Till then, take care guys.